Hello, 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 lovely people, and welcome to the next episode of The Conscious Female Founder. I am your host, Sally Tarbox, and I'm super excited to be sat down with you guys today. So it is the 30th of April, and as we go into a new month, it is always good to sit down and think about our goals and what we want to achieve for the month ahead. I know last month I sat down and did a goal setting session with you guys, and I'm doing exactly that today. Because yes, it is brilliant to set our goals at the beginning of the year, but if we're not checking in with ourselves every single month and seeing if we are on our way to achieving some of the bigger goals, then I think it's truly important to do these sessions. So first and foremost, it's always good to kind of introduce myself. And if you're new to my world, so I am Sally. I'm the owner of this podcast. I'm also the owner of a company called the Empowerment Movement, where I coach other women and entrepreneurs to add passive income streams to their business. I have had the absolute honor of being featured on Fox TV out in the States for being a woman of influence and entrepreneur in the spotlight. I am also a product-based owner. I own a pet brand, which we ship globally. I've also taken on recently, for some of you who might be watching my stories over Facebook, I've also taken on the role of becoming an Airbnb host. I'm also, most importantly, mum to my gorgeous daughter, Willow. So we're to sit down with you guys today. We're going into another new month. We have finished off Q1 for the beginning of the year, and in April we went into Q2. So I wanted to sit down with you and check in with you and see how those goals are going and if they have changed from last month or from the beginning of the year, and what that might look like for you guys to really keep us on track and keep us accountable, so that when it gets to the end of the year we can look back and we can say, you know what, I have achieved this, the compound effect has kicked in, and I'm doing exactly what I want, and my life is going in the direction that I want it to go into, because we are ultimately in control of all of this. So first of all, it's always good to sit there and celebrate the wins from last month. So what did you do well at? What did you achieve? What can you sit there and celebrate from last month? So for me, a big one, I took on the role of hosting an Airbnb, and it's done incredibly. I have given it my love, my passion, and we have been extremely, extremely busy. So for me, that is definitely one that I am going to celebrate, because even though it's added an extra layer for me, it shows to me and it proves to me that when you give yourself, when you give something 100% and you are passionate about it and you believe in it, that actually it does come to fruition. And yes, there might be bumps and trials along the road. That's all learning and that's all growth. So for me, for a month of April, it is definitely setting that part of my business up. It's not something I ever thought I'd do. It kind of came off the spring of back of something else. But it's interesting to see that actually sometimes you can turn your hand at things that you never ever expected that you could do, that you can bring yourself income in ways that you never thought were possible. And that for me is a huge win. And it's been incredible as well to have so many different people, so many different stories come through the property, to be able to meet really incredible, interesting people. For me, has just been really, really amazing. And I've enjoyed it. Yes, it's been tough. Yes, it's been hard work. But actually, it, like I said, it has proved to me that when you give something 100%, that you can really, truly create income and businesses from places that you never really expected to be able to do. So that for me is a huge win. So guys, I really want you to think about what you are celebrating this month, whether it be big or whether it be small. Sometimes I think we get so focused on celebrating the big wins, you know, what are the big things that we've achieved? But actually, let's remember to celebrate the small wins along the way, because they are absolutely paramount to our growth. They are paramount to creating this life that we want to have. So celebrating those small wins is absolutely important. It must be done. Another thing to think about from last month is, what have you learned? What have you learned from last month that is going to aid you as we go into the month of May? What are the lessons that you can say that you've come up against? What are the blocks that you've come up against? And how have you been able to work through them? And if you haven't been able to work through them, on reflection, what can you take from that and say, okay, that didn't quite work for me. That was a particular block that came up for me that I wasn't expecting. And this is how I dealt with it. But actually, on reflection, was that the best way that I could have done? Or could I try a different way, so that, again, if it comes up for me in the future, is there a different way that I can resolve this particular issue that seems to arise for me? And some people that might be time, some people that might be childcare, some people that might be business, some people that might be stress. It doesn't matter what it looks like, but just being able to take the time and recognize that there was a block that you came up against that held you back from achieving something that you wanted, that you'd set out at the beginning of the month, and understanding how you can readdress it and look at it from a completely different perspective is a real big win in my eyes. Another question I think that is really important to ask ourselves when we sit down at the end of one month and we go into the beginning of the next month is, was I truly committed, or how committed was I? Because it's easy to sit down at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the month, whatever that might look like for you guys, and set out these goals. But if you are not committed to them, then unfortunately you will stand in the way of your own success and carving out a life that you desire. So really taking that moment to be really brutally honest with yourself, like really brutally honest. How committed was I to that? It's like, I liken it to going to the gym and saying, oh, you know what, I want to, I don't know, lose weight, or I want a six pack, or whatever that might be, but then not showing up for myself, not putting the work in, not putting the effort in, and then getting angry with it at the end and being like, well, that didn't work. Well, actually, in reality, how committed was I to that goal in the first place? So that's a really important one to ask you. And it can be quite a brutal question as well, because sometimes you have to sit there and say, do you know what, actually, I don't think I was that committed. I think I made excuses. And that is why I haven't achieved what it is that I want to achieve. So really ask yourself that question. And if you then come back to a place of, actually, I wasn't committed, I actually don't know if this is a goal or a desire of mine. Because remember, goals and desires are really two different things. Desires are things you think about maybe late at night when you're laying in bed or first thing in the morning. They're the dreams. They are the things that we dream about. Goals are something completely different. When you take that dream and you sit there and you say to yourself, actually, do you know what? I can achieve this. I believe I can achieve this. When will I know that I have achieved this? What's the outcome to saying, actually, tick, I've achieved that? So very different between dreams and goals. Okay, so let's jump in. Let's set some goals for different areas of our life, things that we feel are obtainable. Remember, like I said to you, it's sometimes not the really big wins, but it's actually the small things, the incremental changes. It's the compound effect of adding in certain aspects, certain things into aspects of our life that will create these bigger results at the end of the year. So first and foremost, one areas we like to look at is health and fitness. So what have you been doing, or how are you going to show up in the month of May to help your health and fitness, and what will be the goal that you are going to set in that area? So for me, health and fitness has always been a huge area of my life that I like to keep focused on. I truly believe in my physical fitness and also my mental fitness. So showing up to the gym has always been really important for me. As we look into the month of May, one of the big goals that I have got is to go and get some blood tests done. I really want to see what's going on with certain areas of my health at the moment, why I'm feeling a certain way. I'm constantly feeling an underlying level of tiredness. So one of my goals this month is to go and get my bloods run and to see where I am stacking up in that area and what I can do to improve. So that is a goal for me. For someone else, it might be going to the gym. Other people, it might be getting your steps in every single day. Someone else, it might be increasing your water intake. Whatever it looks like for you, make sure that this goal is obtainable. It's not unrealistic, and it's something that you can start adding in. Because remember, when sometimes we sit there and set huge goals, our brain won't have the ability to be able to process it so that almost like we self-sabotage it effectively. It's really easy to sit there and say, oh, I want to, I don't know, lose X amount of weight in so many weeks, or I want to earn X amount of money. But when it is so far out of our remit, our brain won't be able to process it, and won't be able to pull up positive evidence of it being done before. So keep those goals in mind. What are we going to do for health and fitness this month? So the next category is love and connection, whether that be self-love, whether that be relationships. What does that look like for you? Are you single? Are you out on the dating scene? Are you in a long-term committed relationship? Are you in a new relationship? Are you absolutely not bothered about relationships, and actually you want to take this month to pour energy into self-love, into yourself? How does that look, and how can you set a goal in that area? Maybe you were with a long-term partner and you're feeling the need for actually some more time for yourself, where you guys, I don't know, go out, or you carve out specific time together to really pour the energy into your relationship to keep it on track and going where you want it to go. So what does that look like for you? Next one is career and business. Basically the areas of your life that are making you money. So how are you going to set a goal in that area of your life so that your business and your career are ever evolving, they're ever growing, they're ever changing? Like I said, last month for me, I sat down, I was launching an Airbnb, did really, really well. Because I set a goal in that area, there was a particular price that I wanted to, or financial benefit that I wanted to make off the back of it. And sure enough, I have done that. And I'm really proud of myself for that. And that's why I'm celebrating that from last month. But what does it look like for you? How are you going to grow your career? How are you going to grow your business? What can you do? What can you put in place? What conversations need to start happening, whether that be with clients, whether that be within industries or firms that you work in already, whether that be looking at outsourcing and getting other expertise on board? Why do you want to achieve that? Where is your business going? And how is this going to help with the compound effect of your business, of those bigger goals that you might have set at the beginning of the year? So the next one is charitable and contribution to others. Where in your life this month are you going to show up and show charitable giving or contribution to others? Now, understand this doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be the big ones. It doesn't, when I say that, I mean, for me, charitable giving always has to come from a place of love. Absolutely, always. It should never come from an energy space of feeling like I have to. And I never ever give in that way. And charity can come in many different forms for me. It can be giving up, carving out time from my schedule to go and help at a local school, or it might be helping people on the street. Whatever that might look like, I make sure that when I do those things, they come from an absolute place of love, and I love to do it, and I love to pour the energy in. Yes, you don't always get to see the end result of how that looks afterwards, after you've left that space, but charity is truly important for me. I talk to my daughter a lot about paying it forward, because I truly believe that we all have something to give someone else. So whether that be time, whether that be money, whether that be someone else, we all have something to give. There is enough to go around to everyone. So charitable giving is really important for me, but it has to be done through the right energy. So next one is personal growth and spiritual development. How are you growing yourself, whether that be your mind, whether that be your soul, your heart? How are you going to grow in that area of your life? For me, I love personal growth. I think it is an ever-evolving journey. I am constantly growing, I am constantly learning, I am constantly coming up against blocks, and areas of my life that I have to work through and understand and unpick the bits of. So for me, this month I'm really excited because I am off to see Ashley Walters speak live and hopefully get to meet him at an event that's happening in May. I'm going with a really good friend of mine. So I am super excited about that because I feel he's got a really incredible story to tell, and I'm really looking forward to hearing him speak live. So for me, that is definitely something. For someone else, it might be picking up a new book that you've had your eye on for a little while. It might be starting to follow a particular coach or mentor, and whatever that might look like. So how are you going to grow in personal growth and spiritual development this year? So the next one is friends and family. What goal are you going to set for friends and family this month? For me, I've got a bigger birthday coming up this month. Not this month, this year, sorry. So one of the goals that I have really set out is to make sure that I am carving time aside one-on-one with my closest friends, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm filling up the calendar throughout the months for the rest of the year, and I'm super excited because these relationships are extremely important to me, as I'm sure they are for everybody. I've had over the last couple of years, a tough couple of years. There's definitely been some areas of my life that I found particularly difficult and challenging, and to see my friends come and support me and encourage me and lift me up when I needed it has just been the most incredible thing to take from the experience in itself. So for me, for the rest of the year, I am making sure that I carve out specific time where I can spend one-on-one time with these people and really pour love back into them and really nurture our relationship together, because they are so important to me. So that is one of the goals on the list for me, is to get the rest of the year sorted, get dates booked in, whether that be dinners, drinks out, quiet nights in, whatever that might look like for us, is just to make sure that I am pouring the most amount of love into these relationships because of the true weight they hold for me. So next one is finance and wealth. What are you guys doing to grow your finance and wealth this month? What does that look like for you? Are you picking up a new book and reading about finance and wealth? Are you looking into different courses? Are you following different people online? Are you looking at how you can grow your finance and wealth? How does that look for you? One of the things that I'm really excited about is I am going on a crypto course. I think it'll be next week. I'm starting a crypto course, which I'm really looking forward to, really looking forward to understanding the crypto world. I have dealt with it in the past, but I must admit my knowledge is a little bit off of recent years. So I'm really looking forward to delving back into that, to seeing how my money can work for me and what that might look like in regards to investment, or how to save, or how to grow it for the future. And then the last one is hobbies and recreation. What are you doing this month? What goal can you set this month to increase your fun and your hobbies? Where do you find fun in life? Is that through doing various tasks? Is it through taking up a new class? Is it through networking and making new friends? Where do you find fun and hobbies? And where are you going to carve out time for yourself so that you can really grow in that particular area of your life? Again, I think another one for me, fun and hobbies. Again, I have started carving out particular areas of time where I can go out for walks with friends, family. I love doing that. I love being out in nature. But as ever, my life is busy like everybody else's. So sometimes, unfortunately, those things get pushed to the back because I'm too busy doing this, I'm too busy. And I think I've definitely this month taken the step to be like, no, you know what? I actually really like doing these things. I find it really fun. I love being around my friends, my family. I love nurturing relationships that are so important to me. So yeah, that is a big goal of mine of what I will be doing this month. So the questions that you need to start asking yourself: how will you show up this month? What is the word that comes to mind for you when you start thinking about how you will show up this month? Will it be committed? Will it be focused? Will it be driven? What is the word that comes up for you when you think about that? Who do I need to be? So who do I need to be this month so that I can get to the end of May and say that I have achieved these goals? Who do I need to be? Who do I need to show up as? What is the energy that I need to bring to this coming month? What are the thoughts I need to have? So it's a really interesting one. It's one that I coach some of my clients through. What are the thoughts you need to have to be able to create this success so that you can get to the end of May and say, yes, I've done that. I can tick these things off and I can celebrate that. So what are the thoughts you need to have? And how do your thoughts need to change so that you can support yourself and you can celebrate at the end of it? What are the blocks that you can foresee yourself coming up with? One of the big ones for me is time. Like I think a lot of other people find I can sometimes sit there in the day, I don't have the time, I don't have the time. But actually, in reality, I probably do have the time. I probably do. It comes down to a level of organization. It comes down to a level of planning. So what is the energy I need to bring? What are the blocks I'm going to come up at? And how can I sit there on the last day of 1 month, the beginning of the first month? How can I sit there and make sure I have planned out so that I know I have carved that time out so that I don't get to the end of May and start using the excuses that there wasn't time, when in reality, there probably was. What is going to stop me? What is going to stop you from achieving these goals? What can you foresee coming up? Excuse me. And are you going to use these excuses or are you going to work through them? What is going to stop you? What can you foresee being a potential block and how can you overcome that before it even happens? Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I know that life sucker punches all of us. I know it. Okay. It happens to every single one of us when you are least expecting it. It happens. Okay. But it is about working through that. And in those moments when it does sucker punch you, I had it last week. I literally had it last week. I had a really busy day planned out. I was really looking forward to it. Coaching calls with clients, meeting up with various people, but networking. I was really looking forward to my day. And the evening before, my daughter decided to propel herself off a climbing frame and fall on the ground in quite an awkward position and badly hurt her wrist. So the following, I must admit, I did take her to A&E that day. Yes, and I was like, you're fine, you'll be all right. Just need a bit of Calpol and ice and peas and all that kind of stuff. But the next morning when she got up, I was obviously prepped for my day, looking forward to my day. And sure enough, she is still in absolute floods tears and in agony. So we found ourselves in A&E at the beginning of that day. So don't get me wrong, I understand that life throws us curveballs. It really, really does. But it's understanding how you can work through those. Don't beat yourself up when they happen. When your day goes to absolute shit, don't beat yourself up. It happens to absolutely everybody. But if there are other elements of your life that you can foresee coming up that might stop you, how can you put controls in place to make sure that you are able to work through them so that you don't get to the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month with this underlying level of frustration that you have been knocked off course? We've got to understand when we fail to plan, then our success probably will fail as well. So making sure that we plan out all of these things. And how does this person need to show up? So those are the areas of our life: health and fitness, love and connection, career and business, charitable giving and contribution to others, personal growth and spiritual development, friends and family, wealth and finance, and fun and hobbies. I'd love you guys to be able to share with me what goals you have set this month, so that we can come back at the end of May and the beginning of June and we can celebrate. It is really, really important, like I said to you, to celebrate the wins. They don't always have to be the massive ones. They can be the small ones, because that is over time when the compound effect starts to take in. We start to rewire our brains for positivity and confidence, and that is when we are much more likely to go on and achieve our much bigger goals that we set out at the beginning of the year. So please do share with me how you're getting on. If anyone has any questions, I am such an open book. I love talking to people. I love supporting people. I have a real belief that when we start changing what we think up here, our external reality will change, and then that will have a much bigger ripple effect on our relationships, on our career, and how our life is looking and how we want to live it every single day. And I want to get you guys there. I do truly believe that you are in control. I believe that you have a life that you can carve out exactly the way you want it to go. So make sure we start putting these actions in place to get us there. Thank you so much. It was lovely to talk to you all today. Any questions? I'm always on social media. You're always welcome to reach out and talk to me. Take care, guys. Bye.